Tonight, the CDC says pregnant women should be among those at the front of the line when the new vaccine for the H1N1 swine flu is ready this fall. Pregnant women are among the most vulnerable, they say. 15 have died so far. But what should pregnant women do before then, before a vaccine is ready? The CDC warns they must remain vigilant.
I think pregnant women like to minimize any medications that they take during pregnancy and are often hesitant to take medications. But I think we need to keep in mind that doing nothing is not appropriate and could actually result in severe illness.
Of the pregnant women who died, the CDC says they were not given antiviral medications early enough. Tamiflu or similar medicine doctors normally prescribe for the flu. And the CDC says that could have made a difference. When we first met Brian and Aubrey Updike just 2 weeks ago, the Florida waitress was in the hospital with swine flu, 27 weeks pregnant. Brian told us then of his wife's fighting spirit.
She's fighting, she's strong, she's stubborn. I've told her this is the one time she can use her stubbornness, just fight this thing. And
that interview was interrupted by a call from the hospital.
Like I said, her numbers have... Hello? This is Brian.
Doctors at the hospital were trying to lift Brian's wife out of a medically induced coma. They knew if they could just keep mother and baby alive another week, they might be able to give Aubrey an emergency cesarean to save the baby, and the mother too.
All right, thank you. Her lung collapsed, so they have to put a tube in. So they need me to, they need me to get to the hospital as soon as possible.
2 days later, the baby died. The mother survived. Brian has been at that hospital by his wife's side ever since. And just days ago, his wife opened her eyes for the first time. We talked to Brian tonight.
She's doing much better. She's moving arms and legs a little bit. She's still unable to communicate.
It's been an excruciating time for Brian and the rest of the family to not only lose the baby, but to watch Aubrey continue to struggle from swine flu and the respiratory complications that followed.
We're just still taking it day by day. I mean, she's still got a long way to go, but, she's better than she was, and improvement's improvement. We're just hopeful every day. We just keep praying and see what the next day brings.
Brian is not surprised the CDC is now using such strong language when it comes to other pregnant women. Just today, the government said pregnant women made up 13% of swine flu deaths in the U.S. from mid-April to mid-June. Women in their second and third trimesters are most at risk.
What the body does, what the baby does really, is it sends out a message to don't get rid of me. So it brings down the immune system so you don't reject the fetus.
But then that expected mother's weakened immune system gets overtaxed, leaving her at greater risk of complications. But even so, even knowing that, will pregnant women be willing to take the vaccine this fall? Many are already asking what would be more dangerous for the baby, swine flu or a brand new vaccine.
Bring the chin back to center, bring the head back above the shoulders slowly.
Tonight at the Prenatal Yoga Center in New York, expectant mothers told us they weren't sure what they will do.
I would want to know a lot more about the vaccine before I would run right out and get it.
Again, inhale.
But in not taking it, they are aware of the other risks too.
You think, oh my gosh, am I going to be one of those pregnant women who gets the swine flu? And it's not just endangering me, but it's my child, and I don't want to lose my child.
The medical community is not convinced pregnant women will want to take the vaccine. It will contain the controversial preservative thimerosal, which some claim contributes to autism in children, even though extensive studies have proved otherwise.
There's thimerosal-free vaccine available. You just have to ask for it and make sure that you get it.
Some doctors, though, believe once the fall flu season hits, there will be a rush for the vaccine.
If I look at my crystal ball, what will happen is once the virus actually hits and we get a lot of illness, all of a sudden there will be a huge interest in vaccine.
The CDC hopes to have 120 million doses by mid-October, the start of flu season, and more ready afterward. Rachel Fingerroot is hoping she won't have to decide whether to take it or not.
So you're 7 months along. Did you ever think you'd have to worry about swine flu?
No.
No. Exhaling 1.
In these final weeks of pregnancy, she was hoping to be breathing easier. Instead, one concern that won't go away, swine flu. For Nightline, I'm David Muir in New York.